I've been grinding in Unity for 6 months. It's powerful, but if you know, it's a little bit slow. So last week, I wanted to see if I could ship a multiplayer game before Thanksgiving. If you've ever played Avalon or Resistance or One Night Werewolf, that's the kind of game I wanted to create. So I put Unity aside and I jumped into VS Code to build a web game using GPT Codex. Let me show you how I did it. So the first thing that I did is I needed to design this game, right? So I jumped right into ChatGPT and I said, hey, how hard would it be to make a game that I want to make that's similar to Avalon Resistance, similar to these social deception games that you can play with your friends, right? And I immediately got, the complexity of it, got to break down ideas, what did I really want to build? Is there real-time interaction? Is this a web game? Is it a multiplayer game on the web? And I started to kind of really break this down into some MVP, the minimum viable product, right? So you'll see one of the first prompts is, hey, this is going to be all in person. I don't want people to log into this game in different areas because then you lose that social deception of this, right? I want people to play during the holidays because that's when people are gathered. We want more of that human interaction. So I started to say, no, that's not really what I want. And if you noticed above here, it actually says that it would take right here 7 to 10 weeks. Or 5 to 6 weeks in the best case, okay? Which is a long time, and I'm like, there's no chance. We're gonna do it a lot quicker than that. So then I started to take that scope and kind of compress it down and say, okay, we really need to come up with the design. So I talked about no matchmaking. I talked about creating lobby code so that users can come in and say, this is my lobby code. They can copy and paste that, send it to grandma. They can have it next to their brother and say, hey, log into this code, just go to this website, put it in, and you can join my game. So really simple, kind of like Jackbox 2, right? So I wanted to simplify that. It was all mainly in the same area. The host controls everything just like they would in a general board game. And then just have that MVP right here. So then if we fast forward here, I said, okay, and if you don't know this communication, where did that big prompt go? My communication with GPT is usually through voice, okay, through using a microphone, because that's how you can get a lot of your context out, a lot of your main ideas. That's where you'll see these big prompts here. And I would say, hey, this is what I want to do. I don't want to ship on Google Play. I don't want to ship on Apple. I just really started to de-scope, okay? Walk through all of the screens and how I wanted to make the game fun and interesting. And then if we zoom down to GPT, it actually gave us about 7 different iterations or setup documents, okay? So let me find where it gave us those documents. This might be it right here. Part A, so there's entry flow, so there's UI flow and map, that's number 1. And then the one above that there, actually that was number 2. And then the product overview. So it started breaking these down into all of these steps that I needed to look at in order to get this game made. And what I did is I went back to my prompt guide. And if you have GPT Pro, not the expensive one, but just like a professional version, then you can create these documents and create these projects and add documentation to it. So I added all of these files in here. We have the UI flow map, as we just saw, the visual mockup, we have the role and deck, the art theme. So I fed it in my ideas for what I wanted the art to look like. And then I have the Firebase schema. How am I going to actually save the information in some database somewhere? Like, you may not even know how to do that. I don't really know how to do that, but I know that GPT could figure it out, or these AI can figure it out. Then the React architecture, obviously using web, we went with React and TypeScript. Then the full marketing plan and launch and a game design document was the first one. So that's really what I did to get it set up. And then I said, I need to take this into VS Code. I need to code it somewhere. I need to have somebody code it for me. So I jumped into VS Code. And if you see here, VS Code actually has a Codex here. This is GPT Codex. And if you go into your extension marketplace, you can see Codex here. It's OpenAI's coding agent, so it's legit. I did the pre-release version, just so you know, to begin with. And I would not recommend the pre-release version. It was pretty buggy. It didn't work great for me. So I turned that off after it wasn't working. Just use the normal version. Don't try to go, too far. Okay, now if I go back to my files, you can see on the left-hand side, it created a boatload of stuff for me. All I did is I went in here, and on the very top, some of this chat I think got lost, but if I scroll up here, if I can find the little cursor thing is really low. So if I scroll up to the top here, I'm asking it a lot of questions. I'm saying, hey, what are you building? I'm saying, okay, it's looking pretty good. What do we do next? Let's get the next step started. And you can see it just changed a few files. It got a landing page. It got join game up. It got a player lobby. It got some buttons and kind of the app component set up. So really all you need to say is, hey, this is the design document for what I want to create. Here you go, GPT or Codex or even Claude or whatever you're using. Get started, start building this for me. You don't need to know a lot of the architecture or how things work, right? It does help you if you need to debug. A year ago when we did this, you would run into debug hell. It would just eventually break and not be able to work correctly, and you wouldn't be able to debug it, and you just have to scrap the project. Today, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, really, it took me 3 to 5 days to get this together, and I'll show you the app real soon. So anyways, there's a lot of information here that we put in so that it would work for us, and it just started coding it. You can see on the left-hand side, we have all of these pages, landing pages, player join games. There's a lot of logic back and forth that helps the app understand what the player is going through. Let's see, join game. There's a lot of functions in here. What else? Mission reveal. I mean, I could go through this all day. There's no way that I could have written this on my own in any short period of time, right? Player lobby, player missions. Each mission kind of has this mission state. It has information on the player ID, what current lobby that they're in. There is just a load of stuff. So using Codex to help code this for us was just incredible. So let me show you the app here. We can kind of run through a sample idea. And I'll show you how I did the images afterward. So what I'm going to show you here is I have 5 of them open. This game in particular requires 5 to 10 players. I thought about doing like a 2 to 4 player variant, but I just didn't have time for it right now. I wanted to kind of keep the rules simple, okay? So really simple, you go in here and you say start game. I have all these images of characters that you can choose from. Obviously, I want to choose the bearded one. I'm going to just put host in here, and we're going to create a game. Okay, so that game link gives us a code. 370-861. Now, all of these other players, they're going to join game. They can, of course, say copy the link and send it to grandma, send it to your friend. You can click how to play here. It gives you an overview. This was all created with the AI, this whole pop-up page here. You can even go, and I added audio. So listen to this here.
You are aboard the starship Vesper, investigating a mysterious signal deep beyond charted space. When your crew reached the source, something infected several members. A hive mind working.
Anyway, it gives you an idea of how to play the game, right? There's like just easy way to jump in. So everybody joins the game and they all get this code 370-861. Let's copy that. We're going to paste it into every one of these, assuming that they're mobile phones, iPads, whatever they are. We're going to say, we're just going to give names out here. John, Sam. We'll do a couple females too, because that'll make it fun, right? Sue and Shirley. And we'll choose some random females. Oh, there's actually a male in that female. I think we had one less female, maybe one additional male, but this is like a bearded female. I mean, that's not too rare, right? Anyway, so let's choose these characters. All of them got different faces. And once they join the game, just like this, they've chosen a name, they've chosen an avatar. You can see that they're immediately starting to join the main host, okay? And he's ready to go, so he's already selected his. He's gonna start the mission. Look at that, all of them changed, all of them joined. Now they're all synced, okay? Now what that actually does, I'm gonna go into my Firebase, and if you note I think it was 370 was the code. I'm gonna go into Firebase, I'm gonna refresh this. Firebase is the database that we set up. It's a free database. You can ask AI, hey, how do I set up the database? It'll walk you through it, and then we can go in here and say, okay, where is this room code? 370-861, this is the one right here. You can see it was created today. Today's December 1st. This is the first mission number. They're on the phase of role reveal, so they're trying to figure out what character they are. all this, it does it automatically for you. I mean, it's just incredible. I've never seen it work so seamlessly. So if you want to create a multiplayer web-based game, this is how you do it. I'm going to run through the game really quick so you can click on it and see your character. That way you're looking at your phone. Nobody can see who you are, so you don't reveal it. That was the Hive Reaper before, right? We got a Hive agent, another crew member. This is the Reaper, and the host is the Quantum Seer, which is like the Merlin of the game. The Reaper is the assassin at the end if the Hive loses. Now everybody clicks ready. Once they've seen it, they're like, okay, I'm ready in the game. Boom, boom, boom. Last one here. And then the host now notices that all of them have been viewed here. You can see that if I zoom this over a little bit, oops, not that one. If I zoom the camera out of the way, you can see that I can click continue now. Okay. Now, all of the characters in this night phase, okay? And again, there's instructions here. If you know these games, you kind of give a verbal thing. You close your eyes, you put your hands on the table so that everybody can kind of give information to each other without cheating, without looking. I added the night audio. So this entire audio walks you through this first phase, which is less than a minute long. So listen to that real quick, at least some of it.
The night has begun. Everyone close your eyes and place your hands on the table with your thumbs on top. Hive agents, open your eyes. Identify one another. 3, 2, 1. Hive agents, close your eyes. Now, if you are a Hive agent, raise your thumb. Quantum Seer, open your eyes. Observe the raised thumbs of the Hive agents.
Anyway, you get an idea there. Super fun. I'd have to add more if I add more characters, more voiceover. I won't show you how to do the voiceover. I did that in another video, which maybe I'll link here through Adobe Audition. I did all my own voices, just edited them, tweaked them a little bit, made them sound a little spooky or scary or whatever. Super fun. Once everybody understands their roles and they open their eyes, then you can continue and you have this night or this mission phase, okay? It looks like the host is the first one. I have it randomly selected so that a random person will be that first character. Any of these characters, they can click on their icon to reveal who they were, right? In case they forget, they're like, oh, I forgot, am I the Hive? You know, whatever, what am I? Anyways, the host comes in and says, I'm going to choose a character, choose myself, and I'm going to choose John. So he knows that John's a bad guy. Maybe that's part of the deduction. He wants to see if John's actually going to reject that first mission, right? Maybe John's not too ambitious. He approves. Well, this is just the approve and reject of the phase. Everybody says, yeah, this is good. I like that team. Let's reveal the votes.
The crew has been approved.
And then I still have audio for that says the team has been approved or the crew has been approved. Now you've got these two characters who actually have to vote, pass, or fail the mission, right? The only one that can sabotage it, you can see here on the bottom here, it says crew cannot sabotage. If crew tries to sabotage, you can't do it. They can only pass. Now, this guy, since he's the Reaper, he can sabotage the mission if he wants to. We'll try it right now. It's not a wise thing to do in this game because everybody knows one of the two of you is bad. So let's reveal the outcome.
Sabotage. Mission has been sabotaged.
And that the mission has been sabotaged. And then right here, you have that first mission is a failed mission. So pretty sweet. Let me run through really quick to the end because I want you to see if you can sabotage, well, actually approve these. Although there is a reject case as well. What I want to show you is the Reaper at the end actually has the ability to assassinate someone. So let's pass with that guy. Let's pass with these. And we had the Reaper sabotage.
Success. Sabotage. Mission has been sabotaged.
I guess we actually need all of them to pass. So let's zoom. What I'll do is I'll fast forward through this since you already see how the game is played, and we'll get to the crew members to finally win the game so that at the end, the Reaper can sabotage. Okay, now we're at this final vote. This is where the crew, if you notice here on the top, mission there, this will be the third vote. All of them were successful in the last three, and we're going to reveal that this last one was also successful. Okay, so what happens at the end here is that the crew, the good guys, won, and the Reaper here, remember this guy, when you hover, he's the Hive Reaper, has the chance to kill somebody in this. Okay, this is actually a bug, the seer thing here, which maybe we'll go and change. This guy is the seer, which you can see here, the host is, and he's the one you will want to assassinate. Okay, they can choose anybody else, and they'll use deduction to figure that out. But if they go in here and say, "Well, I'm going to kill this guy," obviously it's the seer.
Crew eliminated. Hive
Got
wins.
eliminated. The Hive wins. So really simple gameplay, but a lot of complexity in there. I also had it create for me a landing page. You can see here that you can join the game, you can play it. I'll show you the link here at the end so you can jump in if you want to. This is all AI generated too. You know, I gave it the art, I gave it the materials, said this is what I want. I connected it to ConvertKit, which is now Kit, so I can collect emails. Really simple, very interesting. Now, how did I do some of the art? If you jump into Gemini, I pulled in some of the data that I got from GPT and said, hey, give me some colors, give me some ideas. And I popped these in here and said, I need to start with a logo. Now, what's interesting is that it's always very specific, right? I said in here, I need a Spectral Signal neon sci-fi logo. And it literally said Spectral Signal neon sci-fi, which is not what I wanted. Anyways, you have to massage this. You have to figure out, okay, what are the sizes that I want? You can see some of the crew was made after these images. Some of the Hive Reaper, I used this images, love that image. I tried to make a female one. All it did is kind of make the lips a little different, which is kind of strange. It didn't even, make the bust different. So I didn't end up using that or swapping it. But yeah, I just went through and said, create more images. I adjusted them. These are some of the early avatars. I didn't like these as much. I felt that they were a little too clean. I had them adjust them. Some of these are similar to what I used, a little more rough and rugged. You just got to massage it and talk to the AI to tell it what you want. Again, these are the icons I used in the game. And then what I did here is I actually took all of these and I pulled them into Photoshop. Now in Photoshop, you will have to learn some Photoshop to get this working. These are all of the kind of crew that we had. So if I hide all of these guys here, you can see that we have the crew here. I also have a top border, which I used in some of these. The crew obviously had a, more of a friendly border. I had avatar. So I opened the avatars. I cropped the circles in them so that I could have them circle and not have to cut it out in code. But yeah, just added all the avatars in here so that they're exact same size. Just really simple way to do that. Now, in the code, I went in and I also added all of these images. You can see my images here, super long, tons of images on the left-hand side. And then I told Codex, like, hey, here's the images, go swap these images. Here's the logic you need to go to. If they click on this button, you need to show that role. So you do still have to design the game. Codex or these other AI will come back to you and say, hey, what about this? You can say, give me some more ideas, since it can reach out and figure out what these games are like, what these social deduction games are like. It can give you context and give you ideas on what to do to improve it. So definitely suggest doing that, getting it into your game design document. Start small, don't go crazy, figure out what that MVP is and just go from there. So this was a super fun project. I really enjoyed doing this. It only took, honestly, I spent maybe a couple hours a day on this for like 3 to 5 days. I got it out before Thanksgiving. And it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. Let's do something real quick before I forget. So let's go into the code here. And if you remember, we had that area where we were the seer, and at the end, the Reaper knows who the seer is. And I'll just show you that I can add that here. At the end of the game, I notice, actually, we don't even need to do that. We could use the AI to do it, but if we go into the search bar here, we can just say seer ? Because remember, that's what we saw in the end, seer. And then if you click on this here, you can see that they added the text here at the bottom. So they said seer includes. So what we can do is say for this area, for this section, let's see, I noticed that the seer was given away for the Reaper. We shouldn't have that set up that way. It showed that the host was the seer and they could select them to assassinate. I think it's this portion of the code. Let's fix that. Okay, so that's all you do. And then what's really neat is I have this set up to GitHub. Obviously, you can do your own Git repository here. And when you set up GitHub, you can have GPT walk you through that. It will actually automatically send to GitHub. And then the way that I launched this game is I used Vercel. And Vercel is a tool that's just a hosting tool. It'll walk you through how to set that up as well. And what's really neat is when you go from code, I mean, there was a time where I had it edit, I think it was all of the avatars. Avatars were not in at all. And I said, hey, GPT, here's my avatars. I want you to go in and add these to the game so that they can select them. And I was like, this might take a while. I'm going to go downstairs and eat dinner or whatever it was. And honestly, when I got downstairs, I pulled up my phone, I refreshed the website, and boom, the avatars were there within like 1 to 2 minutes. It was unbelievable. So what happened is Codex edited the avatars, threw them in there, went to GitHub and said upload it to GitHub. So GitHub had the new avatars and the new information. Vercel automatically grabs the GitHub updates and it makes a new website every time there are updates on GitHub. So it did all of that automatically within minutes. It was absolutely unbelievable. So it looks like this is done here. Let's go. I'll actually do the local version, which will just do npm start, and it should open up a web page for us. If not, we can just open up a localhost web page. So let's see. Let's go to Chrome and let's go to localhost. Okay, so we may have to start over here. Well, we won't be able to see it, but you kind of get the idea of the workflow. I'm going to trust that it changed that. It said here it hid. If I go back to VS Code, you'll see it says hid seer hints in the Reaper guest screen. The Reaper now sees only player name, no seer question mark markers, prevents the seer from being revealed. So I'm going to trust that that worked. I will check on it later. That is all for today. That is making a game in less than a week. I took a little bit of a break from Unity. I'm going to get back into Unity this week because I need to launch this Mission Vesper game. I need to get it out there. I also had to wait 30 days for Steam to allow me to launch that game, so it's okay. I have probably another week of work to finish that game and get it out the door. And then I'm starting a brand new game. I'm actually thinking of doing more of a Vampire Survivor type game. I'm excited to start that. Almost too excited. Makes you not want to ship products or get things out the door because you want to start new things. But listen, trust me, you have to ship things, get it in front of people, get feedback, and start that new project. You need kind of that wind in your sails when you finish projects. So that's it for today. I will see you later.